So I think it's a very good step, which would actually now put the ball in the court of politicians also, and also other bureaucrats. Then when one of the most protected organization is opening up to public, for the public to see everything transparently, I think other officials, bureaucrats, politicians should also follow the suit. The 500 crore rumors or discussions or kanafusis are being undertaken for one particular judge, and there are 2-3 others, but in the Allahabad High Court.
Oh, but are you aware who that judge is? You would want to disclose the name of that judge?
I would not, because I said in your last interview also that name will come out sooner or later, and it will be rather sooner than later. But I would refrain myself from naming that judge right now, for the reason that it is unfair. What is happening for last 10-11 years is horrifying. Previously, it was exception. And it was not very difficult, to be honest, if you are in a judicial position. So mark my words, it was not very, very difficult to be honest. If you wanted to be, you could, facing some little bit hardships here and there, you could still manage to do that. It's becoming almost impossible today. And that's the worrisome part, and that's the horrifying part. Thick, I would say. So people are cajoled, honorable judges are actually forced to take the route of carrot. So therefore that has become, and see, if a senior bureaucrat at that level of the High Court judges, even the District Court judges and Supreme Court judges, the magnitude of corruption which is possible is mind-boggling, and that is what exactly is happening. Same power, same kind of proportionate power our senior bureaucrats also enjoy, joint secretary level, additional secretary level and secretary level. Same kind of power even ministers, even higher degree of power ministers and prime ministers enjoy. So this horrifying details of hundreds, thousands of crores, allegations like this are coming up because people are forced to choose this line of corruption for the last 10-11 years, and once they get into it, they have so much of power in their pens that hundreds, thousands crores become very easy. So, and it will go and it will shake the foundations of our economic system. And then you are having that kind of money. To arrange and settle that kind of money, you need to have people who are per se, I would say, inherently dirty. Who would arrange transfers of that kind of money from here to there to settle that money, to convert it from black to white and all that stuff? These are very, very dangerous kind of people. People who have dubious backgrounds, people who have criminal backgrounds, they also step in. And the morals keep falling. So only a charade of imparting justice remains. No justice is done. So the saying is, justice should not only be done. It should appear to have been done. So now things are turning to the reverse side. What is happening these days is everybody, or rather many of the people in the system are trying to show that justice is being done.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. In a step towards greater transparency, the Supreme Court has started uploading the asset declarations of its judges on its official website. Now, this move stems from a full court resolution aimed at giving the public access to the financial disclosures of members of the judiciary. Now, so far, 21 of the 33 sitting judges have made their asset information public. And among them, some examples like Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, whose income tax filings from 2010 to 11 through 2024 and 25 indicate a total sum of 91,004.47 crore. Similarly, Justice Vikram Nath is reported owning a two-bedroom apartment in Noida, a bungalow in Prayagraj, around 20 bighas of farmland in Kaushambi, and his investment portfolio amounts to approximately 1.5 crore. Similarly, Justice B.R. Gawai, who's all set to take over as the Chief Justice of India on May 14th, listed gold and jewelry worth 5.25 lakh, while his wife holds ornaments valued 29.70 lakh. Similarly, Justice Surikant, expected to become the CJI on November 24th, declared ownership of a residence in Chandigarh, farmland in Panchkula, a plot in Gurugram, and fixed deposits totally 4.11 crore. So these are just examples which I give you of various judges. And obviously, Supreme Court has emphasized that they believe in transparency, and that is why these measures have been taken. But in addition to the asset declarations, the top court has also made public the procedures for appointing judges to both the high courts and the apex court. These documents detail the steps involved, including recommendations, government inputs, collegium decisions, and the proposals approved by the Supreme Court collegium for appointments as High Court judges during the period from November 9th, 2022 to May 5th, 2025. And they have also been uploaded on the Supreme Court website. So what does this move really mean? Now, is it some kind of a mirror to the legacy of Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, who's all set to retire, whose hallmark, it seems, has been transparency? So we'll try and discuss all this and much more. Joining us this evening is Supreme Court lawyer and activist Mahmud Pracha with us. Thank you so much, Mahmud, for joining. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. But these late evening disclosures made by Supreme Court last evening, do you think that this is some kind of a new milestone which has been set by the Supreme Court under the aegis of Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna?
Undoubtedly so, but only partly. The later half of what you said. The earlier half was actually brought into practice in the year 1990, from the year 1997 onwards, when assets of the judges and their close relatives were decided to be made public, and this practice had started a long time ago, but somehow it stopped in some years back, and it has been reinitiated by Justice Sanjeev Khanna. So it's a very, very welcome step. Even a further step has been taken, that the procedure for appointment of judges is now being made public. Not only the procedure, but the proceedings which have taken place during this appointment. If this is also made public, I think it will go a long way in enhancing the credibility of our judicial system, which is going down because of events like Justice Varma and other such allegations which keep on propping up in public domain. So I think it's a very good step which would actually now put the ball in the court of politicians also, and also other bureaucrats. Then when one of the most protected organization is opening up to public, for the public to see everything transparently, I think other officials, bureaucrats, politicians should also follow the suit, not while filing affidavit during the time they file their nominations, but and on an yearly basis. I think this should be a very, very welcome step, and under the pressure under which I'm sure Justice Khanna is also working, but he is withholding a lot of pressure and doing such kind of, I would think, biased things which will go a long way in putting our judicial system in the right direction.
No, but the trigger of this obviously is the cash row of Justice Yashwant Varma. Had it not been for this case, apparently these disclosures wouldn't have been made, Mahmud.
No, see, where there is a will, there is a way. So will was there, way was created maybe by some supernatural forces or natural forces. I would not like to go into that as of now, since the report has also been filed. Now we all have to keep our fingers crossed what Justice Khanna is going to do in that report, and I wish that it is not just one-off case. He would do a big service to our democracy, constitution, and our country if he lays down a procedure, a standard operating procedure in such cases, how a judge has to be proceeded against, simultaneously how the safety and security and confidentiality, whatever that is supposed to mean, is protected for a judge. So as an institution, as a judge, as an institution has to be protected, but simultaneously, if there is a hint of corruption, it has to be tackled with a heavy hand in a very, very transparent manner, so that no misuse can also happen. Because in these days we are saying a lot of false implications are also there. There will always be a possibility of false implications in this kind of matters, especially when there is an honest judge which tends to rub the powers that be on the wrong side.
No, but Mehboob, what is really happening on the Yashwant Varma closure report? Because people are interested in knowing what has happened. Has the videography been released? Because a lot of it, whatever Justice Sanjeev Khanna had disclosed, people know all of that. Whether it is all the complaints which were made, the videography and everything which was uploaded. But apart from that, has the case got any closure? Because now that the judges have made their intentions clear, they intend to share their assets. But apart from that, there are still several questions looming large as to what is really happening on the Yashwant Varma case. And apart from Yashwant Varma, there are whispers in the corridors of judiciary that there are 2-3 more judges in the Delhi High Court whose names are tainted with the same stain of cash. Now, that I cannot say it with full evidence, but there has been a lot of buzz on the social media.
No, I think I have done an interview on that subject with you also, and the truth will be revealed sooner or later, as I had promised. But I think it will be revealed in the days to come. And
But
as I was
HW viewers, no, I want to understand from the HW viewers as to who are these other judges whose names are doing the rounds in the corridors of the Delhi High Court. As I spoke to you, and for the viewers of the HW News, if you could repeat what are these whispers, what is this scam all about, where we are hearing some Delhi High Court judge. Now, I don't know whether it's a male judge or a female judge who's alleged, to have indulged in the same kind of some kind of a corruption where 500 crore have been discovered from 6 different hideouts. And apparently the spouse of that judge is involved. That is what, there was a tweet by senior journalist Swati Chaturvedi. She later on deleted that tweet. But a lot of it is being discussed in the legal circle. So I want you to explain that case. What is it exactly? And if you don't want to take the name of the judge, it's fine. But without taking the name of the judge, if you could explain what are these whispers?
See, there was a conference in Allahabad on 26th of April, where the High Court Bar Associations of at least 15 High Courts came on the invitation of Mr. Anil Tiwari and the General Secretary of the Allahabad Bar Association, who took a very, I would say, revolutionary step by calling this meeting, and we all decided there to launch a campaign against the lack of transparency and accountability in the judiciary and to bring back the public faith in the judiciary. That was the theme of, and it was a tremendous, it got tremendous response from the lawyers of Uttar Pradesh, and it was decided unanimously that the various high courts will host such meetings again. So a big campaign has been initiated by the bar, that is the lawyer community, to root out corruption in judiciary and the judicial system, in which certain lawyers are also involved who, quote unquote, are supposed to have some kind of strange thing which is known as a face value. And a lot of things were discussed how a lot of senior advocates are also being appointed. And there is a big controversy in Delhi High Court also recently where flouting the norms which were laid down for appointment of senior advocates, 70 advocates were actually appointed when one of the members who was the representative of the bar and the government, Mr. Sudhir Nandarajog, he was not even party to, and without his concurrence, 70 senior advocates were designated, which about that there is a lot of controversy going on. So when 70 people in one go will be appointed in one high court, you can very well imagine that the purpose will not be pious or to support the judicial system. So that has led to these whispers, murmurs, which were very much there. But these kind of appointments have consolidated opaque appointments.
I want to ask from you is that
sorry.
No, what I wanted to ask you was that there is a buzz that there are 2-3 judges in the Delhi High Court from whom similar kinds of currency notes have been discovered. Now, one of them, for which Swati Chaturvedi had tweeted, was to the tune of 500 crores discovered from 6 different hideouts. What are you getting to hear on that front? Is there any evidence against this? Is the judge really involved? And then what I was hearing was that there were 2-3 other judges in the Delhi High Court with similar accusations.
Similar accusations of being closely watched by the agencies and being pursued for these kind of activities. But the 500 crore rumors or discussions or kanafusis are being undertaken for one particular judge, and there are 2-3 others. But in the Allahabad High Court.
But are you aware who that judge is? You would want to disclose the name of that judge?
I would not, because I said in your last interview also that name will come out sooner or later, and it will be rather sooner than later. But I would refrain myself from naming that judge right now for the reason that it is unfair. Let us give Sanjeev Khanna Sahab, the Chief Justice of India, some time. He has got 10 odd days, even right now 8 days. So let him fix a SOP. That is what we are hoping. And I have not gone to the farewell party of at least 3-4 of the last Chief Justices. But I am contemplating going there as a mark of respect to Justice Khanna, notwithstanding what has happened in the Buff case yesterday. But
no, so
still, overall, I would still...
This particular judge...
So what I'm saying is...
No. This particular judge whom you are not naming, this 500 crore judge which we are talking about...
maybe action will be taken within a few days.
No, maybe, but what I want to know from you is that does the collegium know about this case? Is the collegium mulling about a transfer? Because that's what I read from Swati Chaturvedi's tweet, that probably the collegium knows about it and they're thinking of a transfer, probably to the Karnataka High Court. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, that's the buzz, that this person will be transferred to Karnataka High Court, where her seniority will also be severely depleted. In Delhi High Court, that person is at a quite seniority level quite high.
So it's a female judge.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I am just requesting you again and again to try to be gender neutral.
Okay.
It's a judge. That's all, and that is enough. And
because
so what I was trying to say.
Swati had also Mahmud tweeted that apparently the spouse of that particular judge was involved in fixing deals during the earlier tenure of Modi government. That is also something which she had tweeted.
So corruption is gender neutral, I would say. It's rather unfortunate, but it is becoming gender neutral. But what I was trying to point out was that let us give these 8 days to Chief Justice Khanna Sahab So maybe he'll do something about it, and also some more important than picking out and punishing individual judges or highlighting the case of individual judges are that, and that's why I was taking you back to our discussions in Allahabad, where it was categorically said by many lawyers that upward of 80% of the judges at all levels, including the Supreme Court, High Court, and district levels, can be called corrupt because they are indulging in this kind of quid pro quo. That these were the statements which were made, categorical statement made in that meeting. I, of course, don't agree with that on the percentage side, but that's a separate issue. But so rooting out this corruption is more important than taking names of individual judges. But of course, taking names of individual judges helps the larger cause of rooting out the corruption in judiciary, which is rampant now. I have no hesitation in saying this, and I don't think any judge or any person belonging to the judicial community or the justice system would deny this statement if he is honest to his profession. A lot needs to be done at the level of Supreme Court Bar Association also. Today also there is a letter which has been again circulated by another lady member of the bar who's leveled various allegations against the president of the Supreme Court Bar and other members of the Supreme Court Bar Association. So bar, especially the powerful bars, and I'm glad that 15 bar associations of different high courts had joined hands. Some other high court bar associations will also join, but the same is not forthcoming from the Supreme Court Bar Association, where I am also a member. So that's how it is. But it is big. Corruption is becoming a big issue in bar elections also. So that's a very good sign, I would say. But once again, let us give Justice Sanjeev Khanna Sahab one, and let us all hope that he puts across a standard operating procedure, the way to go ahead where there are allegations against the members of the judiciary.
But the responsibility of rooting out the corruption in judiciary lies on whom? Is it the bar associations which will pick up the cudgels, as you said, that you're going on a nationwide campaign and you'll start a movement where all the lawyers will join you? So is that going to be the starting point, or it is Supreme Court which is going to deal with this issue?
It has to be a joint effort. But the primary responsibility, and that's my personal opinion, I would say belongs to the bar, because bar is considered to be the mother of the bench, that is the judges. So all judges come from the bar only, the lawyers. And once they retire, they return back to the bar. So therefore, the primary responsibility, I would still say, is of the lawyers. And then, of course, we have to strengthen the hands of a few honest judges who are actually taking great risks, and they're doing honest jobs at a cost, which at times can be very, very heavy. Judge Loya's case is the biggest example, and the worst judgment in our judicial system, judicial history of independence India, I would say, was Judge Loya's Supreme Court judgment, which actually was something which I think every person who's practicing law or has got some interest in law should be ashamed of that judgment, which was passed by a bench consisting of Justice Deepak Mishra, Justice Khanvilkar, and Justice Chandrachud Sahab, who later on, two of them were Chief Justices. Mishra Sahab was the Chief Justice, I think, probably then also, and Justice Khanvilkar was J1. He became the number 2 judge in the Supreme Court, and of course, Chandrachud Sahab was the Chief Justice for a very long time. But the most shameful part of the judgment for that it should be eternally criticized, is a member of your own family who you are, if not the entire country, you are sworn to protect the member of your own family and someone who's junior to you. For that, no investigation to investigate the causes of the death was undertaken, and that was something shameful. More shameful was it was blocked forever. that whatever secret information or secret report police had filed, that is sufficient to block any future investigation in that regard, simply because the investigation was hinting at a senior politician, that is Mr. Amit Shah today. So that is the most shameful judgment, and which will be remembered in a manner which is more, I think, hateful than the ADM Jabalpur's judgment, which is supposed to be one of the worst judgments again.
I'll come back to the question of the rampant corruption in judiciary, Mahmud, what you're pointing out. And it is indeed a serious thing, and especially on a day when Supreme Court now is forced to disclose the assets of the judges. It is trying to make itself look transparent by also putting out the procedure of the appointments of the High Court and the Supreme Court judges. What do you think is really going to change from here on? Maybe Justice Sanjeev Khanna is trying to do whatever he can within his own limits. But is it possible to root out the corruption in judiciary completely, given the fact that it's just not about the discovery of cash mounds, from a particular judge X, Y, or Z, but it is several other methods which are being adopted to corrupt the judiciary. Say, for example, if a judge is supposed to retire, and what if pre-retirement, he already strikes a deal with the government and then goes ahead and grabs a post or grabs some kind of an allurement? How do you root out that? So it's just not about the discovery of cash mounts from a particular judge's house.
I think that's a very, very relevant and good question. See, this kind of quid pro quo, if you are amenable to the government of the time, you get some appointment, you get some benefits. That is the smaller part of the problem, right? Under the circumstances when we are facing such huge problems. So let us put them in sequence. What is the most dangerous thing? What this used to be rare, it became frequent. What is happening for last 10, 11 years is horrifying. Previously, it was exception. And it was not very difficult, to be honest, if you are in a judicial position. So mark my words, it was not very, very difficult to be honest. If you wanted to be, you could, facing some little bit hardships here and there, you could still manage to do that. It's becoming almost impossible today. And that's the worrisome part, and that's the horrifying part. So there are two ways. There is a carrot, there is a stick. And stick is very, very heavy and very, very thick, I would say. So people are cajoled. People are, honorable judges are actually forced to take the route of carrot. So therefore that has become, and see, if a senior bureaucrat at that level of the High Court judges, even the District Court judges and Supreme Court judges, the magnitude of corruption which is possible is mind-boggling, and that is what exactly is happening. Same power, same kind of proportionate power our senior bureaucrats also enjoy, joint secretary level, additional secretary level, and secretary level. Same kind of power even ministers, even higher degree of power ministers and prime ministers enjoy. So this horrifying details of hundreds, thousands of crores, allegations like this are coming up because people are forced to choose this line of corruption for the last 10, 11 years. And once they get into it, they have so much of power in their pens that hundreds, thousands crores become very easy. So, and it will go and it will shake the foundations of our economic system. And then you are having that kind of money. To arrange and settle that kind of money, you need to have people who are per se, I would say, inherently dirty. Who would arrange transfers of that kind of money from here to there to settle that money, to convert it from black to white and all that stuff? These are very, very dangerous kind of people. People who have dubious backgrounds, people who have criminal backgrounds, they also step in. And the morals keep falling. So only a charade of of imparting justice remains, no justice is done. So the saying is, justice should not only be done, it should appear to have been done. So now
Right.
things are turning to the reverse side. What is happening these days is everybody, or rather many of the people in the system are trying to show that justice is being done.
Right,
It is
but,
actually not being done. It's nobody's concern.
Right. My last question to you, Mahmud, is that this particular judge about whom Swati Chaturvedi tweeted and then she deleted her tweet about this 500 crore scam, and probably the money was discovered from 6 different hideouts. It's also said that the judge's spouse was involved in fixing deals with the earlier tenure of the Modi government. It is also said that apparently, according to Swati's tweet, that collegium is aware of this particular case and they are mulling over a transfer. In how many days do you think that some more beans will be spilled as far as this particular case is concerned? And from what I spoke to you last, you also said that it is just not this 500 crore judge, but there are 2-3 other names about which the Supreme Court collegium is aware of. And
Is aware of. Is aware of. Yes, that is what the buzz is. Is very well aware of.
Will we get to know the names of these judges? Will we get to know about any kind of inquiry, if at all, is happening?
Well, we are hoping, the lawyer community across the country is hoping that such would be the case. If not, and as I said, a big campaign is on its way. Our next meeting is in Karnataka itself. So, and Allahabad High Court bar is fighting against still. They are still actually not fully, they have not digested. So is the Calcutta Bar Association also. They have not digested the transfer of Justice D.K. Sharma in Kolkata and Justice Varma in Allahabad High Court, who incidentally is not having any work, judicial work assigned to him. So everybody wants closure. If these people are innocent, they should be declared innocent. I mean, sooner than later. I mean, we cannot waste time on this. If they are guilty, they should be punished. But this indecisiveness, this doubt, this atmosphere of doubt is worse than actual harm. And I think this declaration of assets once again, which has been the resolution of the Supreme Court recently. Most of the judges have started it at the Supreme Court level, and they are setting. They are leading by example. Most of the Supreme Court judges have declared their assets and also of their spouses and dependents. So this is a good step. It will percolate down to the High Court and then to the District Court. It will not be a perfect break to the corruption, but it will be at least some resistance, some reversal of the avalanche, I would say, of corruption which is hitting our country in the on the judicial dispensation system. Will have some resistance, some inertia it will face, and it's a very good step. But all eyes, as I would say once again, are on Justice Sanjeev Khanna. One reason for that is that he's nephew of Justice H.R. Khanna. So that's how things are. Let us wait for 1 week.
But before Justice Khanna retires, that is on 13th of May, will we get to know about this 500 crore judge, or there are 2-3 other judges who are accused of some kind of a cash scam?
Most probably, yes. That is what the grapevine is. Most probably, yes. At least one of them.
All right.
And people are hoping that some closure would come to Justice Varma's case also, one way or the other.
All right.
But surprising part is that nobody from the side of the Justice Varma's camp or side is doing anything to retrieve his honor, to retrieve and fight back and take his honor back to him. That's one of the surprising thing and most unfortunate thing also for the neutral people in the bar and as well as in the bench. And there are interviews which are not like, one of the retired judges also gave an interview which was Justice Nidul. I would not shy away from taking names, which is not being liked very much because he actually tried to defend without giving any solid reason for defending Justice Varma. I mean, he as a judge colleague, he would not be the best person to vouch for a judge. I mean, people are forgetting this. Right now, the judges are in the dock. So a judge defending a fellow judge would not be the best person to defend. People from other walks of life, people from bar, they should come forward and defend him, not fellow judges, because that appears to be favoritism and of course nepotism to some extent.
Right. All right. So the next 1 week or so before Sanjeev Khanna retires, we'll have to wait and watch if more beans are spilled as far as this particular new case is concerned, where there is a buzz. I wouldn't say that there is a story, but there is a buzz on the social media that there is a particular judge from 6 hideouts of 500 crore rupees have been discovered. And apparently and allegedly, the spouse of this judge has been involved in fixing some deals with the earlier tenure of the Modi government, and the collegium is aware of this. And as Mahmud Pracha has just corroborated that, so we'll have to wait and watch what does Sanjeev Khanna do as far as this particular case is concerned, and also as far as the closure to Justice Yashwant Varma's case is concerned. Thank you so much, Mahmud, for joining on HW. Thank you.